Whoa! Wow! 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 That's so crazy. That is so crazy. Welcome everybody to the show. So you guys coming in, man. Let's see the chances. That's already popping. It's crazy as that. What's up, H buddy? Salute, man. Salute, bro. How you been, man? Bro, you want to join the chat, H? Let me know, man. I'll shoot you the stream. I want to talk about this. I'm so hyped for this fight. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh, I can't, man. Man, I happen to be wearing my Manny Pacquiao shirt. All right, H here. Let me put it on here. I'm gonna put it on here. I want to talk to people, so say what's up to my peeps. Whoever wants to join in, there's a link. Join in. I want to talk about this craziness. Man, Manny Pacquiao. What a legend. Over 40, what is he, 41 years old now? And deciding to take on the size-wise, at least the biggest, well, obviously, he could go up to 54 and stuff, but like, man, the biggest threat there is, the next coming in Errol Spence. Man, wow, the boogeyman, the one everyone avoided. Wow, and he's getting the Manny Pacquiao fight now. Man, how incredible. How incredible. I can't wait. Oh, man, I can't wait to watch this fight. You guys want to join the stream? It's in the chat. You know what? I'll put it on screen. I want to talk to people. I'm hyped about this fight. I am super hyped about this fight. Wow, how incredible. How incredible. Man, Manny Pacquiao is what, 40? Let's find out exactly how. I want to say he's 41 now because I want to say he was in his 40s when he fought Keith Thurman. Because I remember already talking about him being 40 years old. 42 years old. 42 years old. 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao is going to see box record. Already has it. Already had Errol Spence on there. Look at that. August 21st, 2021. Boxing is coming back strong from this pandemic. Girls, 31 years old. Yeah, I mean, he's not in his 20s. You would think he's in his 20s, huh? 31 years old. Oh, let me change my internet to get the. Make sure we're on the strongest one. It's giving me a little internet sign. Oh, maybe we're cool. Oh, yeah, now we're straight. Tripping. Man, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys about Pacquiao versus Errol Spence? What, man, 31-year-old Errol Spence is getting, man, the opportunity of a lifetime and being able to fight a legend in Manny Pacquiao. Man, what a legend Manny Pacquiao is. To still be facing the top guys at this level, as he's 42 years old. He could have fought. I talked to Sean Gibbons. Man, Sean Gibbons did me, bro. He led me astray. He told me what 3 weeks ago when I talked to him outside of Ruiz Areola that oh man, I wanted my "that's what she said" thing to work because I was gonna hit that when I said Areola. I thought that'd be funny, but the damn batteries don't work. Let's see if it works. It's the old rubbing of the battery thing. No, they don't work. Anyway, I'm gonna have that ready for next time. Anyway, when I saw Sean Gibbons on the outside of what was that? Ruiz versus Areola, we talked for a little bit. I saw him walking up, and Man, he told me that Terrence Crawford was a non-starter. I guess they're just people tried it and it wasn't. I don't know. It just wasn't. There wasn't the money for it. I guess it seemed like. And then he said he's like, I really like Mikey Garcia, and I thought it was Mikey Garcia. Man, I thought for sure it was Mikey. I talked to Mikey about it. He seemed like he was still in the race. He said it. I talked to Mikey on where was I? Oh, in Dallas. Um, man, Mikey told me that he's still in the race for the fight. That man, it was looking good. I thought he said it was all but done last year, pre-pandemic. I remember him and Eddie Hearn talking about that at Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. And man, I thought it was Mikey, but wow, Manny Pacquiao is facing Errol Spence Jr. What do you guys think about that fight? That's a man. I can't wait to cover that fight. I can't wait to do all the lead up stuff for that fight. That's gonna be man, what a legend! What a legend! And both of their legends are gonna grow from this fight. Really, no matter how it goes. Wow, I just can't believe Manny Pacquiao had the balls to do that. That's he's not on like some senior tour. You know what I mean? He's not on some like, oh, let me just not to say Mikey Garcia would have been like a senior tour opponent. He definitely would not have been. But man, he's going after the guy who beat Mikey Garcia. He's going after the kingpin at the end of the division. Obviously, Terrence Crawford is would have something to say about that, right? But Earl has two of the belts. Earl has the IBF, the WBC. Terrence has WBO, and Manny has the WBA, I think, super champion, and what's it called? Ugas has the regular championship. Man, I thought it was Ugas. I even talked to man. I got bamboozled. I even talked to Ugas's trainer. What's my dude's name? The Cuban dude. Who am I thinking of? I have his face. I'm thinking of his face. Ishmael Salas. Um, I talked to Ishmael Salas as well, and Ishmael Salas told me that it was Ugas. Told me it was Ugas. So and he said it was all done for like July or something. I remember being surprised it hadn't been announced yet. I was like, why hasn't it been announced yet? But man, how incredible! I am super hyped about that. Oh, I also have the clip of what happened with Josh Taylor versus Ramirez in the hallway. Let me show you guys that right now. Oh, I love it. Damn, I wish it was in Vegas. I wish I was in Vegas. We're getting back there. We're getting back to covering all of them. I would have been pre-pandemic for sure. But we're oh man, I'm getting back there. I'm getting back there. I'll this summer's gonna be cracking. Summer's gonna be super cracking. But wow, that's crazy. Josh Taylor and man, they're really beefing. This whole pandemic thing, forcing the fighters to stay at the hotel, really creates a lot of drama. And don't be surprised if even post-pandemic this continues to happen because look at all this content. Look at all this buildup. I've been putting out content about this fight since Monday, and I feel like I haven't gotten the big response that it should get. These is the undisputed junior welterweight championship of the world is on the line tomorrow. And the last time it was on the line, it was Terrence Crawford versus Ndangu. And I think most people kind of thought like I knew Terrence was the deal and was gonna win that fight. I didn't think as drastically as he did. He made it look easy, like if that he made it. That's how easy like he made it look. But I feel like going into it, Ndangu was not favored to beat Terrence Crawford. This fight, This is a 50-50 fight. Man, this is a 50-50 fight. I lean more towards Jose. I think he's going to kind of come with more of kind of an Oscar Valdez, like an Oscar Valdez versus Burchelt type style. I think he's going to really surprise us with what he does, and just how he approaches the fight. I think style wise is going to be very different from what we're used to, but. Who knows? Josh Taylor's a big guy. You see him next to Ramirez. He's a big welter. I remember seeing him versus Regis and thinking he was a gas welterweight. Josh Taylor's a big dude. So that's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be an excellent fight. I'm so glad it's getting the hype now. So yeah, watch. I'm telling you, promoters gonna keep these fighters in the same hotel and in the same lobby, probably like small lobbies, nice lobbies. So there's a nice backdrop for all these issues that are happening. But I am all for it. Fighting, it's a fight. We're back in it. We're back in it now. Man, I'm excited. I'm gonna show you guys that clip one more time, just because it's fun. Did anyone see? I couldn't see. I'm gonna watch it again. I couldn't see Robert, and I couldn't see. And who said whatever they said about the about it's only me and you tomorrow? Let's listen to it again. I think that was Jose that said it. I think that was Jose said it. Yo! What up, H?
Hey, yo, what's good, my brother? How you doing? What's good?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I'm good. How's my audio? Everything's clear? It's good?
Yeah, audio's solid.
Okay, how you doing, my brother?
Oh, man, good, bro, good. Hyped, bro. Hyped. Man, the announcement of Pacquiao Errol Spence, I feel like came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was shocked. I woke up to that, man. Did you hear anything about that fight? Like before it was announced, did you think that would happen?
Man, they really kept a good lid on that, I feel, because I just talked to Sean Gibbons, Manny Pacquiao's manager, at the Areola Andy Ruiz fight, and he, man, I think he threw me off the scent completely, because he told me at first, he's like, yeah, Terrence Crawford. Because right then the news had come out that Terrence deal was done, basically, like they weren't going to get it done, and so I asked him, yeah, it sounds like Terrence Crawford is not going to happen. Like, so who's next? And he was like, oh, I feel, yeah, Terrence Crawford was a non-starter. He told me, he was like, yeah, it was never any money. Like they tried, but there really wasn't money behind it. And then he told me. He's like, who I really want is like a Mikey Garcia. I think that's like a great fight. And, they've been talking about that since last year. So I thought that was it. I was like, cool. Like, I was getting hyped. I saw Mikey at the Canelo fight and talked to him about it. Was like, hey, Mikey, like, it's I talked to Matt Pacquiao's trainer or manager. He told me he's good. Like first name out of his mouth was yours. He was like, then he kind of smiled. He's like, yeah, we're still in the race. We're still waiting to hear. And man, this just came out of left field. Sean didn't mention anything about Pacquiao. Nothing. Or I'm sorry, Errol Spence. He said nothing about Spence. Like almost like he didn't want me to even ask about it. You know what I mean?
They were trying to keep it on the low, maybe.
They were. I think they were. That's why he told me Mikey Garcia before I could maybe even get going on it or something,
Because we were hearing that Manny Pacquiao next opponent was going to be either Terrence Crawford or a Mikey Garcia. We didn't hear anything about Errol Spence, but if you're Errol Spence, and you know, you got to be excited that you get a chance to fight a legend like Manny Pacquiao. What do you think about this fight? How do you think it will play out? What's your early prediction?
Jesus M says, passing the torch to Spence. Man, that's what, man, I could see why people think that, but you know, man, I'll be honest. I remember thinking Keith Thurman was gonna get to Pacquiao. I thought, because I thought like, man, like Keith could hit, like he's young, like Pacquiao hasn't. By then, what Pacquiao hadn't fought since Jesse Vargas or something, right?
I think it was Broner, right?
Or Broner, you're right. Which was at least a year before. Let me look at that real quick. Where is Manny Pacquiao? Yeah, you're right, because that was also in Vegas. Let's see. Yeah, so Broner was I guess it was earlier that year. It was in January of that year, January 19th. And then he fought Keith Thurman on August 20th. So yeah, I just remember thinking like, like Pacquiao beat Broner, and Broner is 140 pound. Like he was good at 140, 147. He hasn't shown to be the Broner he was at 35 and 40, right? Well, he never really was at 40, I guess, but at 35 at least he looked like a terror, a wrecking ball at 35. I really thought Keith. I thought Keith was going to get to him, but man, seeing Pacquiao just come out and just pop Keith right in the mouth and put him on his ass, and I was like, oh shit! Like Keith messed up by talking crap about Pacquiao's religion and talking crap about like Jesus and God and things like that. Like that, yeah, he really messed up, bro. He really messed up because I remember the times that Pacquiao, even with Mayweather, like when he'd face off with Mayweather, he's the first one to start kind of start cracking a smile, and then they kind of laugh, and that's how the smiles kind of happen with those things. I remember him looking at Keith Thurman dead in the eye, like not moving at all, like not moving mouth at all. He was like I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, you remember Keith Thurman said, "I'm going to crucify you. I'm going to end your career," and all of that crazy stuff. And Pacquiao went out there and beat his butt, man. And in that first round, like you said, hit him with that short right hand. Wow, put him down, bro. And Pacquiao, I'm not going to underestimate Manny Pacquiao in this fight. I think Manny Pacquiao has a good chance of winning this fight. Actually,
I completely agree with you, H. I completely agree with you. I mean, he's 42 years old, but he just beat Keith Thurman, an undefeated fighter who had beaten Danny Garcia, who had beaten Sean Porter. Like he was the number one guy at the time, and Pacquiao just beat him up. Like it wasn't terrible, but he clearly won that fight. He clearly kind of put a hurt on Keith, and man, Errol's so big though, man. Errol's huge for that weight class.
He is.
Errol is suffocating too. Like that fight's gonna be so violent. I think that's kind of the crazy thing about it, is that fight's gonna be violent. Like they both don't like giving. You know what I mean? They both are always the aggressor in their fights. Like when you think about it, you know what I mean? They're always commanding the center of the ring. Whenever they get hit, they need to hit back. That fight's going to be explosive, I feel, like from the beginning. Someone's getting knocked out in that fight, I think.
I can see that.
They're too violent of the styles to not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Errol
think,
Spence?
How do you feel?
It's going to be a great fight. I'm very excited. Now, Errol Spence has one of the best jabs in boxing, and he's also one of the best body punchers in boxing. And his style is pretty much nonstop pressure. He showed us in the Mikey Garcia fight that he could box as well from the outside. But, he does get hit a lot too. Now, Manny Pacquiao is very awkward. He throws some punches that you don't see. That right hook that he throws, I mean, you can't even prepare for a punch like that. I don't think Spence has been in there with anybody like Pacquiao. Now, Spence, he's a very good fighter, but he does get hit a lot. I noticed that he has a lack of head movement. And I mean, we've seen that in the Sean Porter fight. Sean Porter has success on the inside against Errol Spence. And also, even Danny Garcia, he won some rounds. Even though Spence, he pretty much dominated the fight, but Danny Garcia was landing some counter punches in there. I think the counter punch in the Manny Pacquiao, could be a difference in the fight. And also the hand speed of Manny Pacquiao. I don't think Spence been in there with somebody with that type of hand speed. Manny Pacquiao, his experience in big fights against Floyd Mayweather, Keith Thurman, Eric Morales, Tim Bradley, so many fighters. And I think it's a 50-50 fight. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not gonna underestimate Manny Pacquiao. He took this fight for a reason. I think Manny Pacquiao believes he can beat Errol Spence, to be honest.
Yeah, this was not like a money grab. This is not a money grab by any means by Pacquiao. This is on some, like, he thinks he's the best guy still, and you guys say that guy's the best, then that's the guy I want to fight then. And I'm sure it was. I mean, it sounds like from what Sean said that they did try the Terrence Crawford fight, and there just wasn't money behind it. I think Manny was fine fighting Terrence, which a lot of people, may even say that's a more dangerous fight, depending on where you put Terrence and Spence, on the pound for pound list, or just how you see those two. But if he tried Terrence and there wasn't the money for it, that's not Pacquiao's fault. You know what I mean? So you're going to go for the next biggest large amount of money. Now, who's that? Jesus Jason, it's all about the money. I mean, he's gonna get paid. Both these boys are gonna get paid. they're gonna get cashed out, and we're all watching it. We're all paying the $75 or $100, whatever they're gonna charge for it. Like both these men are gonna get paid. What does this dude say? Spence is hot tamale after Garcia wins. Hot tamale. The heck? Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be that they're gonna get paid. It's gonna be it's just gonna be an incredible fight. Another thing, now that, like, talking to you about it and I'm thinking about it more, it's like left-hander on left-hander.
Southpaw versus southpaw.
Yeah,
yes.
Southpaw versus southpaw. That's very interesting. That's going to be very interesting. How many southpaws has Errol faced?
That's a good question. I was just thinking about that. I'm not sure. I mean, I can't recall a southpaw that he's been in there with. I know he fought Peterson. He's been in there with Porter. He fought against Kell Brook. There's no southpaws that I can think of off top. Mikey Garcia wasn't southpaw, but Manny, I believe Manny has been in there with southpaws. Manny got that experience. It's going to be a great fight. Now, if you're Errol Spence, you got to be excited. Now, what do you think a win over Manny Pacquiao would do to the career of Errol Spence?
Man, a win over Manny Pacquiao. Man, Spence is the guy. That's it. Spence is the guy now. Like, man, all this stuff he's talking about offering Terrence like 70-30 or whatever, when he's like, whatever we decide to give him or whatever, when he says stuff like that. Like, man, I mean, if he beats Manny Pacquiao, that's I 70-30 is still pretty rough, but you are the man. You know what I mean? Like, you just beat Manny Pacquiao, especially depending on like how that would happen. You know what I mean? If it were a decision win, if it were boring, like, obviously, like, other kind of things matter, but as violent as we're talking, like, we feel it's gonna be, I could really see if Errol were to come out on the other end of that, victorious, and it is like a devastating victory. Man, I don't know. Earl's kind of in a crazy position because his boy is at 54 and is about to unify all 4 belts. So it's real kind of like, at that point, it's kind of like you have to face Terrence, but you know, now like they're both going to make a lot of money, and you know, God willing, it happens because we've been needing that fight for too long now, you know. But I don't know. It's. I mean, he's the man. He's the man. Who knows what he does, but he's the man at welterweight now. You know what I mean? He's really building his legacy at this point now.
Okay, and as far as pound for pound, if you know, say Errol Spence is successful in a fight against Manny Pacquiao, where would you put him on your pound for pound list? Will he pass Crawford at this point? Would it win over Pacquiao, or you still got?
Wow.
Wow.
At that point, I think at that point, like, yeah, I think at that point I think you have to like he has the resume now. Like people always kind of talked about the resume and like um you know like kind of like have issues with Terrence's resume and stuff like that. Um which you know is kind of understandable at this point. Maybe you can say like Sean has bigger names obviously, or Sean Earl has bigger names on his resume as far as like Mikey Garcia, you know, Danny Garcia, or Sean Porter. The biggest names on Terrence would be I see he doesn't have names necessarily, but he has like tremendous achievements, right? Like he was the last unified 140-pound champion, or the first one ever, I want to say.
Yeah, undisputed. Yes.
Yeah, first undisputed. Yeah, so like, so that's an incredible accomplishment. You know what I mean? To be the
three
first ever in
divisions.
history. You know what I mean?
Three division world champion. Three divisions.
Yeah.
You know that count for something as well. But he got the accomplishments, but the names there. He doesn't have the legacy fights like a Manny Pacquiao on the resume. So you know that is an argument, man. But this is big for Errol Spence right here, man. And I got to tip my hat off to the PBC now. We got some big fights coming from the PBC. You got Mayweather versus Logan Paul.
Yep.
Tank Davis, Mario Barrios. Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3. So it's loaded right there.
Our summer is looking crazy, bro. Boxing summer is crazy. Look at that. Look at all all that you just said. And I want to say that happened within the last week. Like, you know what I mean? Like most of those got announced in like this past week. Like Wilder Fury 3 got announced. Well, I guess it's not official yet, but it seems like it's July 24th, right? Like Spence Pacquiao is now official for August 21st. Tank's been announced, but that's a huge fight. Like seeing them together yesterday was like, wow, like Barrios is quite taller and a lot rangier. Barrios is, people better not sleep on Barrios. That is a dangerous fight for Tank.
It is. I'm actually leaning towards Mario Barrios in that fight. Barrios
really
is an undefeated fighter. Yeah, he got a lot of skills too, and he has power. He's a great body puncher, and he has a great trainer with him, Virgil Hunter, the legendary trainer of Andre Ward. So I know Barrios is going to be ready, and this could be a big mistake. Tank moving up to 140 with no tune-up, and you going straight after somebody like Barrios. I think it's going to be a tough fight.
It is. It is. He obviously has faith in himself, which is great to see. Like I feel also like the 130 thing, he was like, that's it. Like he's not doing 130 again. We're never seeing Tank at 130 pounds again. And he proved, you know, whatever he needed to at that time. He beat, you know, like the legendary Leo Santa Cruz. He's never been knocked out. I don't think Leo's ever been knocked down before. But Jesus says Barrios has no power. I don't know. I don't think so. He has what, like 14 KOs of his like 20 something fights or something. I know he's not like a knockout artist, but I don't think he has no power. I wouldn't say that.
And he's fighting a smaller guy as well. Tank is coming up from 130 his last fight. Now, you know, it's a different type of animal at 140. You know, so Tank has never been hit by somebody that big, and that's something you should take into consideration. We've seen Tank in his last fight against Leo Santa Cruz. He was getting hit with a lot of shots.
Yeah, and by a guy who's taller than him and long, and that's what Barrios is. He's taller than him and long, but now it's, you know, he's 10 pounds, and that's just weighing day 10 pounds heavier. He's going to come in a good. He's probably got good. I'd say like 7 to 8 pounds heavier than Tank, because Tank does get big. Like he fills up in weight afterwards as well. he like rehydrates like pretty solid because he's healthy. At 140, I think Tank's going to be solid, but it's like you said, he's going after like a top person like right off the bat without a tuna, which is it's credit to him because Mario Barrios doesn't have the name necessarily that Tank should get the credit for if Tank were to win this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have another question for you. So now, a win over Errol Spence. What does that do for Manny Pacquiao's career? We know he's an 8-division world champion. He's the only 8-division world champion in boxing history. He's a living legend. He fought the best from the Ricky Haddons, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Keith Thurman. He fought them all. You know, Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Pereira. So many names on this resume, Manny Pacquiao. If he can add Errol Spence at, I believe, 42 years old.
42 years old.
What does this do for Manny Pacquiao's career?
Oh man. Yeah, the King says Pacquiao is a crazy old man. He is, man. It's a great question, H. Man, it just you know, I feel it obviously and adds to his incredible legacy, right? Which, like you said, already has names, legendary names, like Hall of Famers like Morales and Marquez 3 times. So yeah, he got knocked out by Marquez, but he also beat Marquez 3 times. You know, and he was first champion at 115 pounds. Like that's like saying Chocolatito is moving up and is going to fight like Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? Like imagine something, or like Gallo Estrada is going to move up in like 10 years and is going to fight, you know, like the Terrence Crawford of the time, or you know, like say at that time would be like Virgil Ortiz or something. Like that'd be nuts.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like that's nuts. So like he's legendary already, and if he were to beat a young hungry lion in Errol Spence, man, he's cemented himself in the top 10 pound for pound fighters of all time. If he were to do that, which I feel he already has a strong argument for to make the top 10. But I mean, shit, at that point, you might be talking top 5, maybe. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty incredible. Like I want to say most boxing historians kind of have, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard #1. A lot of people have like Henry Armstrong or like Roberto Duran kind of like switch between like 2 and 3. I feel like that's consensus, or at least who I speak to a lot. Those are like top 3. I feel Floyd has to be in the around the top 10, if not in the top 10 himself already. But Pacquiao and Pacquiao the same, he might already be in that neighborhood of the top 10. But if he were to beat a prime Errol Spence, woo, oh man. Now I got a question for you, H. If Pacquiao were to beat Errol Spence, does Pacquiao move ahead of Floyd Mayweather in the pound for pound debate of all time?
Dang, that's a tough question because, you know, when you think about it, 8-division world champion, the guy's still fighting at 42 years old. He's fighting champions at 42, while Floyd is fighting, Jake Pauls and guys like that, Logan Paul. So, I mean, it's debatable. It's really debatable, right? But I think I will still have Floyd, you know, over Pacquiao. But some people would put Manny Pacquiao over Floyd with a win against Errol Spence, because some people say Floyd shied away from those young lions like Keith Thurman. Floyd didn't want to smoke with those young guys, and Pacquiao fought him. You know, so yeah. I mean, it's debatable because Floyd did beat Pacquiao. Floyd beat Canelo. You got to give him credit for those, but
that's another win that Floyd has. That his legend keeps growing is Canelo, because Canelo is on his way to being a pound for pound great himself all time. And with what he's doing, and that legend keeps growing as well. So That's, man, if Pacquiao were to get this Errol Spence win and then his legend just keeps growing with like Errol Spence, imagine. And then now it's like, man, that's. But go ahead, continue. Like it would be an argument, right?
Yeah, it would definitely be an argument. Pacquiao is a legend, man. The guy's fighting the best at 42 years old. He deserves his credit, and he could have went and did something else, but he decided to fight, arguably the best welterweight in the world, Errol Spence. So, man, shout outs to Manny Pacquiao, giving the fans, another great fight and adding another chapter to his legacy. So now I have one more question for you. So we know that Manny Pacquiao was put as champion in recess by the WBA, and we know that Ugas was elevated to the WBA super champion. Do you believe Manny Pacquiao will be reinstated as the super champion for this fight right here by the WBA?
For sure, 100%. 100%. Because now it's for 3 of the belts if you do that. You know what I mean? Like the WBA also wants this Pacquiao Spence check. You know what I mean? Like they want they want that sanction. So yeah, for sure. Especially because he was champion in recess. That's why they do that, to kind of to like be able to make the decision later if need be. And I feel like it's need be now. You know what I mean? And I think also I feel it's better. I mean, that's Pacquiao's the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. You know what I mean? Like Keith Thurman was the guy who was the WBA champion, and Pacquiao beat him. So Pacquiao's the guy. Like, yeah, it has been over a year now, but it's also like it was pandemic. So it's not like Pacquiao was planning on fighting. It just pandemic happened. So it's a very special circumstance because of that as well. So yeah, I as far as I see it, I definitely see WBA reinstating him and then it being for 3 of the 4 belts. And honestly, like now that I'm saying that out loud, if Spence were to win, I can see Spence working out the deal with Terrence, because I want to say by then Terrence is out of his top rank contract, from what I understand, in October. And from what Bob said, from on Barbershop, shout out to Fred. What Bob said. It doesn't seem like he's real desperate to keep Terrence. You know what I mean? I know he's. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but just kind of from what we're hearing, you're hearing the same stuff. Like I can see Terrence being a free agent come October, and if that's the case, and Terrence links up with the PBC. Then nothing is really stopping us from finally getting the fight. You know what I mean?
So, what would you say you think is next for Terrence Crawford? You got Manny Pacquiao fighting Errol Spence. Do you think Terrence Crawford to get in there with probably a Mikey Garcia or possibly a Ugas, or Sean Porter? What do you think is the best possible opponent for Terrence Crawford? Maybe the winner of Jose Ramirez, Josh Taylor. What do you think could be next for him?
Man, I got a lot of love for Terrence, man. I love all those fights. You know what I mean? I'd love all those fights. I think maybe not the Mikey fight, because I know Mikey's campaigning out at welterweight, but I still feel that Mikey's probably could be the man at 140. Like if Josh Taylor were to win, well, the problem is Josh Taylor's with Top Rank, and Mikey doesn't really mess with Top Rank, so I guess maybe that would have an issue with that. But Mikey's a smaller welterweight. He just is. So, and yeah, Terrence isn't one of the bigger welterweights, but I just don't like that fight for Mikey. But I could see Mikey doing it. Mikey went up and fought, Spence, because people didn't think he should. People didn't think it was a good idea, and so he saw it as a challenge. So I could definitely see Mikey facing Terrence. You know what? I know Virgil Ortiz is the number 1 contender right now for the WBO. I talked to Robert last week, and I was just what's going on, what's next, and he was like, we do have the number 1 spot, but he's only 23 years old. Like I think he could beat Terrence. Robert was saying, he was like, I think he could beat him. He's like, but let's give it 2 more fights. Let's have Virgil fight a couple more fights, get another year maybe older, and then kind of go after Terrence. So I really feel the Porter fight would be great for Terrence, because Porter is no easy out for anybody. Like Porter beat Danny, and Danny was the man at 47 and 140. So I think that's a great fight. I think the Ugas is a good fight. It's a very underrated fight, a very kind of stylistic matchup, that I'd be great to see. It'd be a great like kind of chess match to happen in there. Um, that that could be enough money to kind of entice PBC to work with Terrence if he isn't going to fight, if it's a fight before his contract is up, right? If it's a fight before October. But I mean, all those are great fights. Do I think he'll get them? I don't know. That's a problem, you know.
Wow. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
the
like
problem.
Terrence Crawford. I like Terrence Crawford a lot. I hope he gets a big fight. I really hope that he would have got the Manny Pacquiao fight, but Earl took it, man. Earl got it, and Terrence. Hopefully, Terrence could get a big fight. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
man. I got a question for you, man. What do you think about tomorrow night's fight? Let this video for you real quick. I know you saw it while we were on, but I want to replay it for the people watching, and then we'll talk about it.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Me too. I love it. Yo, I saw it this morning and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. It almost broke out a riot. I seen Dean White had to get in there to break it up. Yo, that was wild, bro. You know what I mean? But I noticed Josh Taylor is like, he's trying to punk Jose Ramirez, pushing him around. He's trash talking him. And Jose Ramirez is not going for it. His people are not going for it, and it's just going to make the fight more interesting. I can't wait for it. It's a legacy fight. 2 undefeated champions. May the best man win. What you thought about the little confrontation?
Man, it tripped me out because both of them interviews beforehand. Like I didn't speak to Josh Taylor beforehand, but I watched his interviews. I spoke to Jose, but very respectful, very just like, oh, like, yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. Like he'll be the first Scotsman to ever win, to be undisputed. I'm like, or Jose was talking about he's gonna be the first Mexican American to be undisputed in the 4-belt era, to have all 4 belts. It was just real respectful, and then all of a sudden they like faced off yesterday, and Josh is like in his face and like talking. It's like, whoa, I saw Josh Taylor in Jose Ramirez's manager's face. I'm like, man, this guy's angry making weight because he's a big dude. You see him, he's like, I remember thinking he was big against Regis. I was like, wow, he's like, Regis is a big guy, and seeing Taylor look bigger than him in the ring was like, wow, Josh Taylor was like a big ass 140 pounder. And so, yeah, man, it seemed uncharacteristic, but I don't know. I guess I haven't seen a whole lot of like pre-fight Josh Taylor, or I never like this, but I love it, man. I love it. Let's scrap. It's fight time. Like that was like the Canelo Saunders hotel, like in Dallas, man. It was like gang, bro. Like when, you know what I mean? Like, we know who you are. We know, like, we don't fuck with you, and like, let's go.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. But I noticed like Josh Taylor, he does trash talk a lot, because even with Regis during their face off, he was all up on Regis, talking trash to him. And a lot of these guys that come from the UK, they do that. Tyson Fury, he does it all the time to Wilder. And then Billy Joe Saunders as well. He was all up in Canelo's face talking trash. And now Josh Taylor is doing the same thing. But I like Jose Ramirez. He's not backing down. He's a warrior. He's a warrior, and he wants that smoke. And tomorrow night, all the talking will be done, and they're gonna let the fist do the talking then. But who you think gonna win this fight? Let me get your prediction.
Oh man, I feel like Man, I really feel Jose is gonna come with like a Oscar Valdez kind of like style, like versus Burchell, right? Like this, we thought Valdez was gonna come forward and like that was kind of the great consensus, right? Is, oh, Burchell's gonna beat Oscar in like a firefight. But Oscar always had those skills. He's a two-time Olympian, and you can't be a two-time Olympian just being like a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to box. You have to be able to like to finesse. And Oscar, we like I've been covering Oscar since he was at like the Rock Gym with Manny Robles. Like when it was, he was like 8-0, 9-0 Oscar. And he's always been able to like stick and move. He's always had good footwork. And Eddie Reynoso really came up with an excellent game plan. And I really feel like Jose Ramirez is like, we're in for something like that almost. Like, I feel like Jose Ramirez is going to kind of set traps for Josh Taylor, catch him. Like, Jose is a tough guy himself. You know what I mean? Like, Jose, like, I saw the Hooker fight the other day. That was violent. Like, that was a violent ending. Like, and Jose's feeling his power now. Like, his body is growing, and he knows that he is powerful now. And it's going to be a great scrap, man. I feel like I'm edging Ramirez in like an excellent scrap. Like I think they're gonna. I really feel Jose's gonna kind of finesse it a little bit and fight when he needs to, but get back on the stick when he needs to and really kind of set traps. And I just feel that Josh is going to come in enough to where Jose might even like it's going to get violent at points because Josh is a big guy and he's very skilled fighter himself, and I think he's able to adjust as well. But it's man, it's a real chess match. I feel like with like violent in betweens.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with Josh Taylor in this one. I think Josh Taylor, will be able to outbox Jose Ramirez. I think the speed of Josh Taylor will be the difference. Jose Ramirez very powerful, very strong, great body puncher, but I think he lacks speed. I think he's pretty slow with his punches, and I think that would be the difference in the fight. But I could see the fight going 12 rounds, though. Maybe a split decision, but I'm leaning towards Josh Taylor because I think he got the better skills. That's what I believe.
Yeah. No, he's a very skilled fighter. Two belt champion. And the way he fought Regis, it really impressed me because I thought Regis was going to go over there and just take the belts and come back home. But the way he fought Regis, he I love Regis, and I just remember thinking like, wow, this dude's big, and he's getting the better of Regis in a lot of these spots. So yeah, we're gonna see tomorrow. I'm excited, man. I'm hyped. We gotta talk about it, bro. I gotta ask you, man. The Dream Haney the week after. How's he gonna do against Audio?
Devin Haney versus Linares.
Yeah, Linares.
Man. I'm excited about that fight. Devin Haney, the youngest champion in boxing, making his return back to the ring, taking a step-up fight against Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares, a 4-time world champion in different weight classes. Linares, very tough opponent. We know Linares been in there with some of the best names in boxing, such as Vasily Lomachenko. Linares had moments in that fight. He dropped Lomachenko with a right hand. He put him down. Also, Linares beat Luke Campbell, who's a very good fighter. And Devin Haney's only 22 years old. So, I've been talking to Bill, and I told Bill, man, let's go get this knockout right here. I want to see Devin Haney make a statement in this fight. I want to see explosiveness. I want to see the power. I want to see everything that people have been talking about, and I think this should be a coming out party for Devin Haney and, a statement fight right here. Put the pressure on Teofimo Lopez and try to make the fight happen with Teofimo Lopez in the future. I think that's the fight that people want to see. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, they have a rivalry. They have bad blood, and I think it's going to be one of the biggest fights in boxing. But first, Devin Haney must get past Jorge Linares. We're not going to overlook Jorge Linares, and we're going to take this fight very serious, my brother.
Yeah, man, it's a great fight. It's Linares is kind of like you said, has almost is it in his career where he's getting these fights, but he's not maybe expected to win these fights like the way he was like in his prime, right? And so it's almost becoming like like, well, how did Lomachenko do against them? How did Ryan do against them? And it's now the question is going to be how's Hayden do against them? But that's it's Leonidas is a dangerous fighter. Leonidas' right hand is one of the straightest right hands there is in boxing still. Like he popped Lomachenko on, like to drop Lomachenko in that fight. So Leonidas is a dangerous fighter. Devin Haney, if Devin Haney were to look impressive against Leonidas, that's still a statement being made. You know what I mean? Because Leonidas is still a dangerous fighter like that. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm hyped to see. Are you gonna be in Vegas for that one?
I'm not sure right now. I don't think so at the moment because I'm busy with my family. But I mean, I would like to, and I mean, I want Devin to be successful in this fight and move on with his career. Like you said, Linares is a very dangerous fighter. He has a lot of experience, and Devin needs to go out there and look impressive, and make a statement in this one. That's what I'm looking forward to. But hey, brother, I gotta ask you about this Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 3 fight. Now, we thought it was gonna be Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua for undisputed, and Deontay Wilder, he won, I guess, the arbitration, and now it looks like it's gonna be Wilder versus Fury 3. So, what did you think about the first two fights, and what do you think about the third fight? And what do you think is going to happen in the third fight? Was you covering the first two fights, Wilder and Fury? Did you do the media for both of them?
Yeah, I did, man. I was blessed to be able to do the for both of them. The first one was here at LA, so it was at the Staples Center. So so all that stuff was here. So we got to talk to Wilder, we got to talk to Fury, like both at like Churchill's gym. Man, that was great. That fight week was great. That was the to this day. that was that fight. So that happened. It was like it was. Oh man, it was crazy. It was beautiful. The first fight, like I know a lot of people had Wilder kind of like dominating rounds as far as like score wise. I feel like I saw a lot of media like that. I had it closer. I thought Wilder won a good like 4 rounds. I remember it at the time, at least like 4-ish rounds, something like that. But with the 2 knockdowns, it really, you really weren't sure how it was going to end up. The draw I was okay with the first time around. I think the second time around, Fury really figured out kind of what bothered Wilder, as far as like coming forward. Oh, hey, we got a special guest in here.
Hey, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Fred?
What's good, Fred?
Hey, I watch all your videos, KO.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Man. Hey, all the time. What's up, H?
What's good, Fred? How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. You already know I'm excited. You know what I mean? I've been on their head about dropping these fights, KO. You know what I mean? And I'm just ecstatic, man, that we got something to look forward to. I think this Spence fight, Wilder, and then we got the Charlos, you got Tank, and then we're going to cap it off with Canelo at the end in mid-September. So I think boxing fans have something to look forward to, and it's a great time to brand because you don't have college football, NFL, NBA. So it's a great space for boxing just to say, hey, we're here. So I'm ecstatic.
It's coming, I think, also like roaring back from the pandemic.
Right.
Because a lot of those fights that we would have gotten in 2020 or maybe the fights we're getting now, really, but are also able to happen now because the fans are back. That the gate is back. Mm-hmm. Exactly. The gate is back. And so now it's like, I think UFC really took its really during this time, and they were the first sporting event on during the pandemic, right. And they've just really been putting on stellar fights, stellar matchups, and really kind of fight as a fight fan. Like you guys know, I love both. I watch all the big things, even the little ones. And so seeing them kind of almost steal the spotlight, almost because we were coming off a Wilder Fury. You know what I mean? We were rolling, like boxing was rolling in 2020. And to for them to kind of steal the fighting spotlight was like, wow. I mean, good on them. For me, it's all good. It's all fight sports, right? I feel like it helps all of us all in the end,
right?
But to see boxing roar back the way it has is, I was telling H, I'm like, man, just this week we got like Wilder Fury 3 and Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, like all within like 3 days.
And 20, whatever it was, 48, 72 hours. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. And you know what, Fred, you just mentioned fights that H and I haven't spoken about, which are the Charlo fights. Well, first let's talk about Maul's fight against Montiel. I haven't heard much of Montiel. I know he beat somebody recently that beat somebody else, but I don't know a lot of background on him other than he's Fernando's brother.
Yeah, you would sell more tickets if you fought Jamal Charlo. How about that? I think it's a wash fight. Charlo is going to have to find a way to find an opponent. Laura said he would fight him. I'm not sure if Hurd is going to make 54. I know Arias' fight is scheduled to be at 54. We'll see if he makes 54. If he doesn't, it's a great storyline there. He could fight the bigger Charlo. And then ultimately, I think the Andrade fight, they got to unify. This conversation about what they did in the past, that's a 6-year story, So I think that's water under the bridge at this point. And I think a unification is Trump's ego. So
I feel the fight at middleweight, I feel is Triple G Maul. Yeah, I think that fight is incredible. That's an incredible fight. It's if you're gonna stay at middleweight and still try to campaign for a Canelo fight, which everyone in that neighborhood is trying to do. Yeah. If you're gonna stay at middleweight, then that's the fight to make, because that is what we're all going to be asking about leading up to that. Does this put your name in the front of the line to face Canelo now? Like, are you willing to go to 168? Because after that fight, that's an incredible fight. That's a great fight fans fight, I feel.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And then the fight that I think is incredible, that is definitely should get as much hype as it can, is Jermell versus Castaño, man. I think that is a good, really, really good scrap.
I think
undisputed.
So. Another undisputed fight. We got one this Saturday that's not getting a lot of attention. But I will say Jermell is doing something historic, the first time in that division. The only down thing is I wouldn't have moved that fight to Barclay. I heard it's going to Barclay. They probably got some type of contract with them that they got to put on fights there. But I would have loved to see that in Jermell's hometown. I'm pretty sure he could sell it out coming off of the momentum of a Jamal Charlo knockout in June. It just makes all the sense in the world to have it in his hometown, because that fight ain't gonna sell. Jamel Charlo is not a draw in New York City. He's a draw Vegas, maybe, down south, yes. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Castano know his life can change in one night. I think we're going to see the best Castano we've ever seen. I think he's going to be at least durable. I think he has a great boxing pedigree. And why wouldn't you want to beat both fighters in the same stable, one as an amateur and one as a unified champion? So I think the same motivation, similar motivation that Jermell Charlo is going in with, Castano is going with if you flip the coin. So it's going to be an electric fight. Derek James does an extraordinary job in the corner. Who's Castano's trainer?
I don't know who his trainer is. I want to say it's because he's Argentinian, and so I want to say it's like his trainer from Argentina.
Probably the guy with the tattoo on his neck.
I don't think so, because I've seen Castano works out with Manny Robles in that team. Like, so I think they're in Southgate now. But
Southgate now? Okay.
They're in Southgate now, yeah. But he works out of that team. I've seen Castano in like in those like sparring wars over there. He's sparring big dudes. Like he's getting the better of a lot of these guys. He's a very underrated fighter. I'm very happy that Jermell decided to go with that because I mean, I hope he's getting paid too because that fight is, I feel, more risk than reward. I mean, yeah, you get all 4 belts, so I mean, that reward is great. So you gotta put that into. But as far as like stylistic fighter, like Castaño's a very good fighter.
Very good, yeah, very good.
That's gonna be a fun one. I'm hyped about that.
Yeah,
I gotta get your take, Fred, on Tank Barrios, man.
Whew. I think it's one. I'll start at the top in terms of before I get into the ring. Let's talk outside the ring. I think it's a bad decision to have Tank fight a guy who is pretty damn good. You know, people gonna say he's this, he's that, but he's a pretty damn good fighter at 140 at a weight class he's never been to. Tank is a midget. I'm a midget, and Tank is shorter than me. So you get what I'm saying? So I think that he's gonna have some problems. When Tank gets frustrated, he goes to the high guard and walks forward. If Mario Barrios is an intelligent fighter, Virgil Hunter's brain, I would put in the Hall of Fame versus anybody's Hall of Fame. Manu Stewart, whoever you want to put him up against, I'll put his brain up against any one of those. And I just think it's just a mismanagement of his career. You know, I think it's more money for him to fight down under 130, 135. And then fight for everything at 140. You don't go up to 140 and fight this guy. If you're going to take this risk, I think you go up there and you fight the winner, you know, of what happened Saturday. That would have been a mega fight coming off of his win against Teofimo Lopez. And now you really got the boxing world just stopped. Like it's literally just stopped, you know, assuming that Devin Haney doesn't fight Teofimo Lopez. I think you got the boxing world on his ears. Two unified, undefeated champions going head to head for everything. And I don't like the move Floyd made. Honestly, I don't like it. Leonard Ellaby, I don't like it because I would never give a fat kid more cake. You understand what I'm saying? And I think Tank is one of them guys that lacks discipline but has a big heart. You know, I'm an admirer of his talent. I'm not an admirer of his discipline. And we'll see. I think Virgil Hunter will have the game plan. He showed us, KO, you and I we've covered both fights with Ward and many of other Virgil Hunter fights. He always comes in with the game plan, whether his talent can fulfill the game plan. He always comes in with the game plan. And I think he's going to be ultra cerebral. I think Andre Ward is going to personalize this fight. I think Andre Ward is going to be in the camp silently. You know, he moves silently. And I'm thoroughly looking forward to Tank Davis. That week of the fight, it's going to be so much big. It's going to be so big because people are going to like, because they're going to play. He's moving up to 140, and we're going to start second guessing ourselves as boxing fans. You know, like, God, can he do it? Who is this guy Barrios? You know, is he an avatar or a fighter? You know what I mean? Like, is he? You know, he looks like an avatar. You know, so we'll see, man. We'll definitely see.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And it's I was telling H the same. I was like, it's a very dangerous fight. And we just saw Tank lose some rounds against Leo Santa Cruz, who is also taller than Tank and lengthy.
Right.
Like and Barrios is exactly that, just 2 weight classes heavier. You know?
Oh, I'll absolutely go ahead, H.
Yeah, and on the undercard, you got Erickson Lubin versus Jason Rosario, which is another great fight.
Best undercard fight I've seen since Danny Garcia, probably. Danny Garcia fought somebody on Floyd's card.
Matisse.
Luke Matisse.
Yeah. So that's a great fight. That card, honestly, is worth $50 because you got J-Rock. He's a supporting fight. I'm not buying it because I don't respect Leonard Ellaby, what he said about the fans. But if I'm a boxing fan, I would buy it. You know, I definitely would buy it. I was on go to Atlanta. You know, I love the strip clubs in Atlanta, but I'm not going to support. I can't spend $2,000. You know how much it costs to go to.
Right.
I'm not spending $2,000 to support him when I don't think the respect is there for the fans. But I'm excited for that fight. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah.
What did Leonard say?
He said boxing is bigger than the fans.
Oh, I've heard him say.
Yeah, he said, and he's always alluded to that, you know. And you know, I think they move kind of funny. They're unauthentic. Is that a word? Unauthentic? Where you get what I'm saying? Disingenuous.
Right.
Yeah. You know, but I like Virgil Hunter's brain in that. I'm betting on Mario Barrios just because of the odds. My heart will root for Tank Davis, you know, but the odds is gonna be crazy. Just I got to take the bet. You know, you know, I'm not paying for the
that's
fight.
Not a bad bet.
I might as well put the $50 on what you call it, you know, and hope he pulls it off. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Fred, it looked like the pressure you've been putting on the PBC is working, man. You got Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, you know, all these fights, man.
I think that played a lot because every time I post, I get fighters that call me. Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Fred. Keep it up. 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 You know what I mean? So I know that the word is getting back. You understand what I'm saying? And when you have a platform like mine and like KO artists, you know, they're going to see it. Their sister is going to see it. Their best friend is going to see it. And they're going to get back to it. So I do know that it makes waves. How impressionable it is, we'll never know, KO. You know what I mean? And but the fact that we're out here actually working and that Al Heyman is actually adhering to the fans, you know, and I'm excited. I booked my hotel room already for Wilder. So I get there Thursday morning. So I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. You guys know how I feel about Wilder. Right, H Money?
I've been giving you a hard time every night about Wilder.
I know. And I'm ecstatic, man. 30 days, dude. Not just average fights like the HBO fights. You see the tune-up fights. In 30 days, we get the best fights possible at 147 and the heavyweight division. Come on, dog.
That's great for boxing. Boxing needed these fights. And now we got them.
Yep. Even in the span of like starting tomorrow, which is what, like May 22nd to like August 21st, so in a span of what, 4 months, we're getting undisputed junior welterweight champion, undisputed junior middleweight champion, like the heavyweight championship of the world, and then Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. Just though. Yeah. And those are just the highlighted ones. Like we haven't talked about some of the other, like Neri Figueroa last week was a great fight.
Great fight.
that was a great scrap.
Yeah, that's unification, a junior belt and a big belt, but still unification.
Yeah. I talked to Andy Ruiz's dad in Dallas, and he mentioned that Andy Ruiz should be coming back in like July-ish too.
Oh, so really?
Like somewhere around that time. Yeah. I wonder if he. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm saying this out loud, I wonder if Andy might be in an undercard role for like Wilder Fury. I think Andy's big enough to headline now. Obviously, he did this last time out, a pay-per-view, so maybe not. But I'm sure it'll be like either leading up to it or something like that. We're gonna get like an Andy Ruiz fight, you know, to kind of hype up Wilder Fury, probably.
Sure, yeah, because they got the 17th, July 17th. They got Charlo, and then July 3rd. They have Colbert, so July 10th is open, and whatever date is after that, the 24th and the 31st. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Wilder has the 24th.
Wilder has the 24th. So maybe that was just his game plan. He knows if it was going to work out. But he did tell me that we'd see Andy in the summer again.
Yeah, July probably means September. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, Fred, I heard you mention Canelo in September. You think Canelo versus Caleb Plant is a strong possibility for?
It has to happen, and if it's falling apart, Caleb Plant needs to step in front of his management team and make the fight happen. You understand? Why are you in this? Why are you in the sport of boxing? You understand? Why are you in the sport of boxing? You get everything in one night. You understand? He gets to put 5 belts on his daughter's grave. How much more motivation do you need? And that's what I would tell Caleb Plant. You get 5 belts to put on your daughter's grave. How much more motivation? The storyline is there. Everything is set. You know, all you got to do is push play. You know,
he would be the first unified super middleweight champion.
Whoever wins,
right?
Whoever wins.
Or whoever wins, right? Yeah,
yeah. Whoever wins will get that, and that's special. Like I was on the phone with some fighters who called me after the Errol Spence thing came out, and I told them PBC, they could be 0-5 or 5-0. It's a big summer for PBC. You know, let's just go on the Vegas odds. Earl might be an underdog. Wilder is an underdog. Caleb Plant is an underdog. Because when that Filipino money started coming in, it may flip-flop, you know. And the way ESPN, they probably not gonna support Earl as much because he's with PBC, so that might change the betting odds. So, and then you got the 2 Charlo brothers. You know, like it's a big summer for PBC. They can come out on top. You know what I mean? That they can be the bridesmaid or the bride. You know, it's a big summer. It's a big summer for PBC. They put it all on the line. You got to respect it.
They came with a bang. They came out with a bang this summer. Even the Floyd versus Logan Paul, you know, and then they just signed Jake Paul to Showtime. So, you know, they're going to set up a fight with Mayweather next with Jake Paul. So, man, PBC doing some great things. I ain't going to lie, man. They came back hard.
Yeah, no, it's a very active and it's a very spirited schedule. You know what I mean? You got different personalities. Like this fight was kind of stale. No personalities this week. You know, I'm not even sure. I don't even know what Ramirez's voice sounds like. I'll be honest. Like, I don't even know what Josh Taylor's voice sounds like. You know, I've never.
They got into a scuffle. Hey, Fred, they got into a scuffle. Did you see it?
I was watching y'all the whole show. I was just cleaning. I was like, man, I had to do the dishes, got to do the laundry. You know what I mean? So I'm running around like, please stay on. I'm y'all, you know? I was watching the whole show. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they. I went to Robert's gym last week and kind of to hype this fight, right? Like coming into this fight, like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start releasing the videos and stuff, and it didn't do a whole lot of like traffic. And then I've noticed other people that are there, like it wasn't doing too great until like Josh Taylor got in his face, and then Josh Taylor got into Ramirez's manager's face, and then it kind of, you could tell like, all right, like it's cracking out there.
Right.
And then,
I know.
And now, I mean, that stuff today was like, oh wow, like they're really like, I mean, good, because this fight needs more eyes. I've been telling people about it as loud as I can. I'm like, you need to watch this fight. This is not only will this be a great fight, like stylistically, but it's a historic fight. It's historic what's going to happen. Yeah,
definitely historic. But you know, I think I have Josh Taylor as a slight favorite, 52-48. You know, and you know what else I was thinking? More importantly, moreover, is Robert Garcia an overrated trainer?
No,
you don't think so? You don't think so?
No,
Tell me some big fights he's won.
Broner, Maidana Broner, Jose Ramirez, Maurice Hooker. That was a big one. He was
Mikey, like Salido was a big fight at the time. Mikey's whole career obviously has all been Robert, and Mikey's.
But he's never been. He's only been an underdog in one fight.
And the Broner fight, right?
No, Spence.
Spence, yeah. Let's see. Yeah,
Maidana, I think, was the underdog against Broner, wasn't it?
He was, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they work hard, but they don't win.
No, I think, like Maidana, Ramirez, Hooker. I want to say Hooker was supposed to beat Ramirez too, and that didn't happen.
I thought Ramirez was the favorite in that.
I thought Hooker. I thought Hooker was going into it.
Okay. I thought Cepeda beat Ramirez up there in Fresno.
That was a good fight.
Or lost by 1 round, either one. You know, Robert Garcia recently ain't been doing much. You know what I mean? Like, I think his I think Ellie does a good job at branding him, but he ain't won no big fights, dog. He ain't.
No, I think he's. I mean, I see what I feel like other trainers are maybe kind of pulling ahead of him as far as like like, and I think it's obvious more recently with like Derek James and like the two main ones, right? Derek James and Eddie Reynoso. Like,
Right.
I feel like when you look at them, especially what they're doing more recently, I feel just what they've done more recently is just more eye catching, right? Like the Eddie Reynoso, obviously Canelo just looks better and better every time out. Like, and even when like with the Golovkin fight, when it looked like, okay, you know, when someone's pressure fighting Canelo, like he doesn't look so good backing up. Well, then he changed the style up, and he had obviously Canelo. He has the fighter to do something like that, right? Because not a lot of fighters can absorb like Triple G shots and keep coming forward. But you know, the Oscar Valdez win I think was incredible. Like Oscar Valdez wasn't favored to win that fight. He was supposed to get beat up. Yeah, and that fight, he does have a great talent, but he brought that talent out of Oscar. I think also C in the corner, I think, is pretty neat too with Eddie Reynoso, and maybe just the coverage that we're getting in between rounds with it. But like, I remember that point in the Valdez fight where Valdez was looking like he was getting tired, and I think it was like in the 7th or something, and like Burchell was kind of getting to him. And you could tell Valdez was looking like kind of breathing heavy, and Eddie sat him down. He's like, sit down, relax, just breathe. Like, you have the conditioning. Like, don't worry. Like, don't worry about that at all. You have the conditioning.
Right.
And it gave Oscar that confidence. Like, oh, okay. Like, all right. Like, maybe I am all right. You know, and he came out again in the next round and started boxing and realized like, all right, like he got his second win. That was like, all right, I'm okay. I'm okay. I think also with the Ryan Garcia knockdown, when he got knocked down by Luke Campbell.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, he comes in the corner and he's like, you know, like he's like, calm down, like it's okay, you know, we'll be all right. And even later in that fight, when he hurt Luke Campbell towards the end, and he told him like, relax, like we're gonna get him, just pick your spots. And Ryan went out there like throwing like everything, and he came back in and he's like, I told you, like calm down, like just relax, we're gonna get him, whatever. And in the next round, it got him, you know. And I think Derek James, the same. You can't like deny two like unified world champions.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's incredible. Like, Jermell looks great. Jermell looked great against Harrison the second time. He lost some rounds, but he got the job done in dramatic fashion, you know. And obviously Errol Spence is Errol Spence. Yeah. I think you froze, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
are. I'm frozen. Okay, yeah. I mean, okay. We'll see tomorrow night. I think he had a great run till 2017. I think he's been on a decline a little bit after 2017, maybe 2018. He hasn't won like, you know, kind of like how Virgil Hunter, you know, like Berto and Fonfora, Franz, you know what I mean? Not Fonfora. You know, the kid from Chicago.
Fondora or something.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah. Like Khan, they wasn't winning, but he was still a good trainer, but he just wasn't winning, you know. I think Robert Garcia, he ain't really won nothing. Like I haven't seen him going. I see the Mitsubishi hat, you know. I see that.
Oh, he also Josh Franco wasn't supposed to win against the Australian dude. What is it, Maloney or something like that?
Yeah, but wasn't that like wasn't there some controversy there?
No, the first time Franco just beat him. The second time was like the headbutt, and it was like supposedly they couldn't find it, but then I saw later I was like, well, did it happen? I never really went back myself to look at it. So the second one had the little issue, but the first one, Franco became world champion when he wasn't supposed to.
Right.
You know, there's those victories. I feel also like during pandemic, and this is a credit to just the machine that the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy is, but Robert was getting calls during pandemic. Because all those ESPN shows,
right?
Like Robert, like lived in the bubble. Like Robert was like, those are all those guys.
Great job with that. No, I think he does a great job at managing his fighters and getting them fights. But some big wins, I need to see some big wins out of him. Like I need some belts on his shoulders. You know, I haven't seen that recently. Like you said, Reynoso has done I like Reynoso. You know, I love the fact that. I don't know what he was saying, but it felt like he was feeding Canelo those comments. I enjoyed that so much. I really enjoyed that. I think Derek James is the cream of the crop right now. Eddie Reynoso comes in second, and then you fill the rest out as you wish, you know. But I think those are the top 2 trainers in the game. You know, if you're a Canelo fan, you obviously choose Reynoso. You know, if you're a Spence fan, Charlo fan, you obviously choose Derek James. So
Yeah.
It's a good run though, man.
Yeah. Who else does Derek train? I know
he got the Frank Martin, the 135 guy.
Frank
He
Martin.
good, man.
I don't think I've seen Frank Martin.
Freakish athlete. Oh, he good, dog. Oh, he
really?
Good. Yeah, he good. Yeah.
Where are his fights on Showtime or?
He fought on that Tuesday card on Fox.
Okay, so that should be on the Fox app then, probably.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Frank Martin. Yeah, he's good.
Okay,
he's good. No, you're gonna love him. He kind of fights like Gary Russell.
Ooh, nice.
Softball too. He got family
in
the NFL, so great genetics, you know.
Nice. I'll check him out, Frank Martin. Hey, Fred, I'm gonna jump off here, buddy. I've been on here for a while,
man. Thank you for all your content, man. Thank you for your Dallas work, man. I appreciate it.
Bro. Thank you, man. Thank you for watching it, bro. I appreciate it.
All the time, dog. No, it's all love, homie.
It was a blessing, man. It was a blessing to be back. It felt good. It feels good, bro. We're back. We're back.
Yeah,
we're coming
back.
Puerto
Rico too, right? What were you doing in Puerto Rico?
Yeah. That was just vacation. But but yeah, I got family out there.
How the strip clubs out there?
Man, I didn't make it. But I met like the Paul brothers were out there, and I found out that my cousin has like a link to like Felix Trinidad. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout, bro. I might be talking to Felix Trinidad soon.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
make sure subtitles. You know, I'll be glad.
For sure.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Hey, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you, bro.
It's all love. You know, it's love.
Thanks, man. Hey, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you. And let's see. I don't know. Everybody knows number 1. Yeah, I'd probably. I think Fred said it. Like I'd say, Eddie Reynoso. He thinks Derek James. I think Reynoso is doing a lot in kind of transforming fighters, or like again, it's all just on display now. And we're like seeing it, and it's incredible to see. But thank you guys all for watching. Appreciate it. And man, looking forward to the summer of fights. Stay tuned to the channel because I'll bring it all to you. Thank you all. Oh, let me do my little hold on, I paid for that.